Commander Jake Sullivan floated in front of the observation window, watching the stars. He had been doing this job for 15 years now, sitting at the edge of human space and listening to alien chatter. Most days were quiet. Today felt different. The monitoring station was small, just big enough for Jake and his team of 12. They called it Watchtower, though it had no official name. Earth did not like to give names to things that were supposed to stay secret. Jake pressed his hand against the cold metal wall and felt the vibrations of the station's engines. Everything was working normally, but something in the alien communications had changed. "Commander, you need to hear this," Dr. Lisa Grant called from her workstation. Lisa was the best at understanding alien languages that Jake had ever met. She could pick up meaning from radio signals that sounded like noise to everyone else. Jake pushed himself across the zero-gravity chamber and grabbed the rail next to Lisa's chair. She had 3 different alien broadcasts playing at once, her fingers dancing across the controls to adjust frequencies and translation algorithms. "What do you have?" Jake asked. "The Zephyrians are talking more than usual, a lot more. And they're asking questions about us." Lisa pointed to the waveform patterns on her screen. "Look at this traffic. It's been building for weeks." Jake studied the data. The Zephyrians were a warrior race that controlled a large chunk of space about 50 light-years from Earth. They had always been aggressive, but they usually kept to themselves. The last time they had shown interest in humans was never. "What kind of questions?" Jake asked. Lisa pulled up a translated conversation. "This is from yesterday. 2 Zephyrian military commanders discussing human space." She played the audio, and Jake heard the mechanical voice of the translation system. "The old warnings speak of great danger from the Sol system, but we have detected no activity for 2 centuries. Perhaps the humans have died out. The Confederation still maintains the prohibition. No ship may enter their space. But what if the prohibition is meaningless now? What if we fear ghosts?" Jake felt his stomach tighten. He had heard stories about what happened before humans retreated from the galaxy. His grandfather had been there during the Great Silence War, though he never talked about it much. All Jake knew was that humans had decided to leave galactic politics behind and seal themselves into their home system. "There's more," Lisa said. She switched to another channel. "This is from the Galactic Confederation Council meeting 3 days ago." The voices were different this time. Jake recognized the translation patterns of several alien species. The Keth delegates spoke in their high-pitched tones, while the Vraxian representatives used their deep, rumbling language. "The human question has been raised again," one voice said. "The younger races do not understand why we maintain the old restrictions. Because those who violated human space in the past learned the price of such actions," another voice replied. "The humans withdrew not from weakness but from mercy. That was 200 years ago. The galaxy has changed. We have grown stronger. Have we grown stronger, or have we simply forgotten what strength truly means?" Jake looked at Lisa. Her face was pale in the blue light of the monitors. "How many species are having these conversations?" he asked. "At least 6 that I can identify. Maybe more. The Zephyrians are the loudest, but others are listening. Some are curious. Some are worried." Lisa switched to another frequency. "But this is the one that really concerns me." The new audio was scratchy, like it came from an encrypted military channel. The voices spoke in rapid Zephyrian battle language. "Scout Fleet Talon 7 is ready for departure. Confirm mission parameters. Reconnaissance of Sol system perimeter. Assess current human defensive capabilities. Rules of engagement are observation only. And if the humans detect our presence, then we will learn if the old stories are true." Jake felt ice in his veins. A Zephyrian scout fleet was heading toward human space, the first alien ships to approach Sol in 2 centuries. "When was this recorded?" he asked. 4 hours ago, Lisa said. "If they left immediately, they'll reach the outer perimeter in 18 hours. Jake pushed himself toward the communication console. His hands moved automatically across the controls, opening a channel that had not been used in 20 years. The emergency frequency that connected directly to Earth Defense Command. The signal would take 12 minutes to reach Earth at light speed. The response would take another 12 minutes to come back. In 24 minutes, Jake would know if anyone on Earth still monitored this channel. Watchtower to Earth Defense Command, Priority Alpha. This is Commander Sullivan with emergency traffic. Please respond. Jake released the transmission button and waited. Around him, his crew continued their work, but he could feel their tension. Everyone knew what an Alpha priority meant. It had never been used before. While they waited, Jake thought about his grandfather's stories. The old man had served on a human battlecruiser during the war. He never explained what the war was about, or how it ended. He only said that humans had the power to end all war forever, and they chose not to use it. The universe is not ready for what we can do, his grandfather had said once. Maybe it never will be. So we stepped back and let others make their own mistakes. Now someone was about to make a very big mistake. The communication console beeped. Jake's heart jumped as he heard the incoming signal. Earth Defense Command to Watchtower. We read you, Commander Sullivan. This is Captain Ryan Torres. What is your situation? Jake had never heard of Captain Torres, but the man's voice carried authority. Jake took a deep breath and began his report. Sir, we have intercepted alien communications indicating an imminent probe of human space. Zephyrian scout fleet estimated. Arrival at outer perimeter in 14 hours. They believe humans may be extinct and are testing our defenses. The silence lasted so long that Jake wondered if the signal had been lost. Finally, Torres responded, Understood, Watchtower. Maintain your position and continue monitoring. Do not attempt to intercept or communicate with the alien vessels. Earth Defense Command will handle the situation. Sir, what are your instructions if the aliens detect our station? Another long pause. Commander, you are to take no action unless directly threatened. If the aliens approach your position, you will identify yourself as a monitoring station only. You will not reveal the location of Earth or any human installations. Is that clear? Yes, sir. But what if they demand information? Then you tell them the truth, Commander. You tell them they have made a mistake, and they should leave immediately. Jake frowned. That did not sound like much of a defense plan. Sir, with respect, what if they don't listen? Captain Torres was quiet for almost a full minute. When he spoke again, his voice was different. Colder. Commander, you've been on that station for 15 years. In all that time, have you ever wondered why we put a monitoring post so far from Earth? Why we position human observers at the very edge of our space? To watch for threats, sir. No, Commander. We put you there to give them one last warning. Your station is not just a listening post. It's a mercy. The signal ended, leaving Jake staring at the dead communication panel. Around him, his crew worked quietly, pretending they had not heard the conversation. But Jake saw the looks they exchanged. Everyone understood what Torres had really said. The station was not there to protect Earth from aliens. It was there to protect aliens from Earth. Jake turned back to the observation window and watched the stars. Somewhere out there, alien ships were heading toward human space for the first time in 2 centuries. They thought they were strong enough to challenge humanity. They thought humans had grown weak during their isolation. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Lisa's voice broke the silence. Commander, I'm picking up more chatter. Other species are watching to see what happens to the Zephyrians. The whole galaxy is holding its breath. Jake nodded. The galaxy was about to remember why there had been only one rule for the past 200 years. Don't wake the humans. But they were about to do exactly that. Admiral Kate Morrison stood in the war room deep beneath the mountains of Colorado. She had not been in this room for 30 years. The last time was during a training exercise that everyone hoped would never be needed. Now the exercise had become real. The room buzzed with activity as officers rushed between workstations. Screens covered every wall, showing star maps, ship positions, and alien communication intercepts. Kate watched the data flowing across the displays and felt a weight in her chest that she had not experienced since she was a young officer. Admiral, the scout ships have entered the outer perimeter, General Alex Carter reported. Carter commanded the Sol Defense Force, the military branch that most humans did not even know existed. His face was grim as he pointed to the tactical display. 3 Zephyrian vessels, light cruiser class. They're moving slowly, scanning everything they encounter. Kate studied the ship positions. The aliens were being careful, probably expecting to find debris or abandoned stations. Instead, they were flying into the most heavily defended system in the galaxy. "What have they detected so far?" she asked. "Nothing. The stealth fields are holding perfectly. To their sensors, the system looks empty except for basic planetary bodies." Carter switched to another screen. "But Admiral, they're heading directly toward Jupiter's orbit. That puts them on a collision course with Defense Platform 7. Kate nodded. Defense Platform 7 was one of 43 hidden installations throughout the Sol system. Each platform carried enough firepower to destroy a fleet, but they had been dormant for decades. The aliens had no idea they were flying through the most dangerous space in the galaxy. "Have they attempted any communications?" Kate asked. "Negative. They're maintaining radio silence and using passive sensors only. Professional work, I'll give them that." Carter highlighted the alien ships on the display. "But Admiral, there's something else. We're detecting major fleet movements throughout Zephyrian space. This isn't just a scouting mission. They're preparing for something bigger." Before Kate could respond, the communication console chimed. A young officer looked up from his station with wide eyes. "Admiral, incoming priority transmission from the President." Kate walked to the secure communication booth and sealed the door behind her. President Laura Davis appeared on the screen, her face showing the stress of the past few hours. "Kate, what's our status?" the President asked without preamble. 3 alien vessels have breached the perimeter. No hostile actions yet, but we're tracking major military buildup in Zephyrian territory. "They're testing us, Madam President." President Davis was quiet for a moment. "Recommendations?" "We have several options. We can disable their ships and send them home with a warning. We can allow them to complete their reconnaissance and report back to their fleet. Or..." Kate paused. "Or what, Admiral?" "We can show them why their ancestors were afraid of us." The President studied Kate's face through the video link. "How long since we've had to make this kind of decision?" 214 years, ma'am. Not since the withdrawal." "And you think we're ready?" Kate looked through the booth window at the bustling war room. Officers who had trained their entire careers for this moment worked with calm efficiency. The machinery of human military power was awakening after centuries of sleep. "We've never stopped being ready, Madam President. We just stopped using our capabilities." President Davis nodded slowly. "Very well, Admiral. You have operational authority. But Kate, remember why we withdrew in the first place. If we do this, we do it right." The transmission ended, leaving Kate alone with the weight of command. She opened the booth door and returned to the main floor. "General Carter, bring Defense Platform 7 online, full stealth mode." "Yes, ma'am." Carter's fingers flew across his console. "Platform 7 is powering up now." Across the room, another officer called out, "Admiral, the alien ships are changing." "Of course, they've detected something." Kate moved to the tactical display. The 3 Zephyrian ships had stopped their forward movement and were now scanning intensively in all directions. "What did they find?" she asked. "Unknown, ma'am. Our stealth systems are still active. They shouldn't be able to detect anything." Carter frowned at his readings. "Admiral, I think they're picking up gravitational anomalies. Defense Platform 7 has significant mass, and when it powered up, it might have created slight distortions in local spacetime." Kate smiled grimly. Even their stealth technology was more advanced than the aliens realized. The Zephyrians had no idea they were detecting the gravitational signature of weapons that could crack planets. "Open a channel to Ambassador Nina Rodriguez," Kate ordered. "It's time to bring her back to active duty." Nina Rodriguez had been Earth's last ambassador to the Galactic Confederation before the withdrawal. She had spent the past 2 centuries studying alien cultures and languages from Earth, preparing for the day when contact might be renewed. Kate had hoped that day would never come. The ambassador arrived at the war room within an hour, her gray hair and lined face showing her age, but her eyes still sharp with intelligence. "Admiral Morrison," Nina said as she entered. "I never thought I'd see you in this room again." "Neither did I, Ambassador. What can you tell me about current Zephyrian leadership?" Nina pulled up files on her tablet. "War Master Krax leads their military council. He's young for a Zephyrian, only about 80 years old. That means he wasn't alive during the last war. He has no personal memory of human capabilities. That explains their boldness, Kate said. What about their political structure? Still a military hierarchy, but they've expanded significantly since the withdrawal. They now control 12 star systems and have defensive pacts with 6 other species. They believe themselves to be the dominant military power in this region of the galaxy. Kate studied the tactical display where the alien ships continued their careful advance. They're about to learn otherwise. The communication console beeped again. This time it was an external signal on an emergency frequency. Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the alien vessels, the communications officer reported. Let's hear it, Kate said. The speakers crackled with static, then a harsh alien voice filled the room, speaking through a translation system. Unknown human installations, this is Commander Vex of the Zephyrian Imperial Fleet. We know you are monitoring our transmissions. Identify yourselves and state your intentions. Kate looked at Ambassador Rodriguez, who shrugged. They're more direct than their predecessors. Open a channel, Kate ordered. She walked to the communication station and spoke clearly into the microphone. Commander Vex, this is Admiral Kate Morrison of Earth Defense Command. You are in violation of Galactic Confederation law by entering this system. You have one opportunity to withdraw immediately. The silence lasted for 30 seconds. Then, Commander Vex responded, his voice carrying a tone of surprise and something else. Fear. Admiral Morrison, we were told that humans had abandoned military operations. We detected no active defenses upon our arrival. Commander, the fact that you detected nothing should concern you greatly. You are currently surrounded by defensive installations that could destroy your entire fleet before you could send a distress signal. Leave now, and we will consider this a navigation error. Another pause. Longer this time. Kate could imagine the frantic activity aboard the alien ships as they tried to scan for the weapons she had mentioned. Admiral, we are a peaceful reconnaissance mission. We mean no harm to human territory. Kate smiled coldly. Commander, there is no such thing as a peaceful military reconnaissance of our territory. You have 10 minutes to clear the outer perimeter. If you are still in our space after that time, we will consider your presence a hostile act. Admiral, we request diplomatic negotiations. We wish to establish communications with human leadership. The negotiation is simple, Commander. Leave our space and never return. That is our final offer. Kate cut the transmission and turned to General Carter. What's their status? Carter checked his displays. They're not moving yet, but their energy signature suggests they're powering up weapons and shields. Foolish, Ambassador Rodriguez said quietly. They have no idea what they're facing. The tactical display suddenly flashed red as alarm signals filled the war room. Admiral, Carter shouted. The alien ships are launching some kind of probe. It's heading directly toward Earth. Kate's expression hardened. The aliens had just crossed a line that could not be uncrossed. General Carter, you are authorized to engage. Disable those ships immediately. Yes, ma'am. Defense Platform 7. You are cleared to fire. On the main screen, Kate watched 3 beams of coherent energy lance out from seemingly empty space. The beams struck the Zephyrian ships simultaneously. In an instant, all 3 alien vessels went dark, their engines dead and their weapons offline. Direct hits, Carter reported. All 3 ships are disabled but intact. No casualties detected. Kate opened the communication channel again. Commander Vex, your ships have been disabled by automated defense systems. You now have a choice. You can activate your emergency beacons and wait for rescue, or you can accept our assistance in repairing your engines for immediate departure. The response came quickly, filled with shock and disbelief. How did you disable our ships? We detected no weapons fire, no incoming projectiles. Our shields showed no impact. Captain Ben Hayes stood on the bridge of the New Horizon and watched the stars change for the first time in his life. He had been born on Earth and had never left the Sol system until this moment. Now he was commanding humanity's first starship to venture beyond their home in 2 centuries. The New Horizon was not like the old human ships that aliens remembered from the war stories. This vessel had been built during the years of isolation, incorporating technologies that pushed the boundaries of physics itself. It moved through space without engines that aliens could understand, and its hull was made from materials that seemed to bend light and gravity. "Captain, we're approaching the rendezvous coordinates," reported Lieutenant Sam Parker from the navigation station. Parker was young, like most of the crew. The older officers remembered why humans had withdrawn from the galaxy. The younger ones were eager to see what lay beyond their home system. "Reduce speed and activate external communications," Ben ordered. "Let's announce our arrival." Dr. Matt Jordan looked up from his science station, his face pale with excitement and worry. "Captain, I'm detecting massive energy signatures throughout this region. There are hundreds of alien ships within scanning range." Ben nodded. They had expected this. When the Zephyrian scouts returned to their fleet with reports of human defenses, it had triggered the largest military mobilization in galactic history. Every major species wanted to see what would happen when someone finally challenged humanity. "Open all communication frequencies," Ben commanded. "This is Captain Ben Hayes of the Earth vessel New Horizon. We request immediate communication with representatives of the Galactic Confederation." The response came quickly, but not from the Confederation. A harsh Zephyrian voice filled the bridge. "Human vessel, you are surrounded by the combined fleets of the Zephyrian Empire. Surrender immediately or face destruction." Ben looked at his crew. Several officers were grinning despite the threat. They knew something the aliens did not. "Dr. Jordan, how many ships are we facing?" Ben asked calmly. "Scanning now, Captain. I count 437 vessels of various classes. Battleships, cruisers, destroyers, and support ships. It's the largest fleet I've ever seen." Ben walked to the communication station. "Zephyrian fleet, this is Captain Hayes. We have not come here to fight. We have come to deliver a message. Your message is irrelevant, human. You will surrender or be destroyed." "Very well," Ben said quietly. "All hands prepare for combat demonstration. Shields to maximum, weapons to stand by." The bridge crew moved with practiced efficiency. Ben had trained for this moment his entire career, though he had hoped it would never come. Earth's leaders had decided that if humanity was going to be forced back into galactic politics, they would make their position clear from the beginning. "Captain," Dr. Jordan called out, "the alien fleet is moving into attack formation. They're powering weapons." Ben touched a button on his command chair. "Earth Defense Command, this is New Horizon. We are about to engage a hostile fleet. Please confirm our operational parameters." Admiral Morrison's voice came through the speakers. Instantly. "New Horizon, you are authorized to demonstrate human capabilities. Rules of engagement are defensive only. Disable but do not destroy unless directly threatened." "Understood, Admiral." New Horizon out. Ben turned to his weapons officer. "Lieutenant Chen, show them what we can do." The New Horizon's weapons were not like anything the aliens had seen before. Instead of energy beams or projectile weapons, the ship could manipulate space-time itself. When Lieutenant Chen activated the defensive systems, reality around the human ship began to change. The first alien attack came as a coordinated barrage from 50 ships. Energy beams and missiles streaked toward the New Horizon from all directions. Ben watched calmly as the weapons approached their ship. Then they simply disappeared. "What happened to their weapons?" Dr. Jordan asked, staring at his sensors. "Temporal displacement," Lieutenant Chen replied. "The weapons are now arriving at this location 3 hours ago when we weren't here." Ben smiled. "Alien vessels, your attack has failed. We are now going to demonstrate why humans withdrew from galactic affairs." The New Horizon began to move, but not in any way the aliens could understand. The ship seemed to fold space around itself, appearing in multiple locations simultaneously. To the alien sensors, it looked like the single human vessel had become a fleet of identical ships. "Impossible," someone whispered over the open communication channel. Lieutenant Chen activated the ship's primary systems. Around the alien fleet, space itself began to change. Gravity fields shifted, creating areas where up and down had no meaning. Time flowed differently in pockets of space, causing some alien ships to experience seconds while others experienced hours. Alien fleet, you are now experiencing a small fraction of human defensive capabilities, Ben announced. Your ships are not damaged, but they are no longer under your control. You cannot move, you cannot fire weapons, and you cannot escape. The communication channels erupted with panicked alien voices speaking in dozens of languages. Ship commanders shouted orders that could not be carried out. Fleet admirals demanded explanations that their crews could not provide. Ben waited for the chaos to subside, then spoke again. I will now speak with War Master Krax of the Zephyrian Empire. A new voice came over the speakers, deeper and more controlled than the others. This is War Master Krax. What have you done to our ships? We have demonstrated why there was only one rule in the galaxy, War Master. Your ships are caught in localized space-time distortions. They will be released unharmed when this conversation is finished. This is impossible. No species possesses such technology. You are correct. No other species possesses this technology. Only humans do. Ben paused to let that sink in. War Master, do you know why humans withdrew from galactic politics 2 centuries ago? Your species was defeated in the Great Silence War. Ben laughed, and the sound carried across all communication frequencies. War Master, humans were never defeated. We withdrew because we were winning too easily. We had become so powerful that we could end any conflict before it began. We realized that our presence was preventing other species from growing and learning. You lie. Do I, War Master? Look around you. Your entire fleet, the largest military force assembled in generations, has been rendered helpless by a single human ship. We have not fired a weapon or caused a single casualty. We have simply demonstrated that your technology is inadequate to threaten us. Dr. Jordan looked up from his station. Captain, I'm detecting communication between the alien ships. They're trying to coordinate some kind of response. Let them try, Ben said. Lieutenant Chen, show them our scanning capabilities. The New Horizons sensors reached out across space, penetrating the hulls of every alien ship in the fleet. Within seconds, the human crew had complete information about every vessel, including crew numbers, weapon specifications, and structural weaknesses. Attention all ships, Ben announced. We now have complete data on your entire fleet. We know the location of every crew member, every weapon system, and every critical component on every ship. We could disable your life support, shut down your engines, or overload your power systems without causing permanent damage. We choose not to do so. The communication channels had gone silent. Ben could imagine the alien crews staring at their instruments, realizing that their most advanced defenses had been penetrated effortlessly. War Master Krax, Ben continued, your species made a grave error when you violated human space. You awakened something that was better left sleeping. However, humans are not cruel. We offer you a choice. What choice? You can return to your territory and never again approach human space. In return, we will pretend this incident never happened. Or you can continue to threaten us and learn what human military technology is truly capable of achieving. The silence stretched for long minutes. Finally, War Master Krax spoke, his voice much quieter than before. What assurance do we have that humans will not use these capabilities against other species? The same assurance you had for the past 2 centuries, War Master. We withdrew from galactic affairs because we chose to do so, not because we were forced to. We have no desire to conquer or control other species. We simply want to be left alone. And, if other species threaten human territory, Ben's voice hardened, then they will learn the same lesson you are learning now. The galaxy has one rule, War Master. Don't wake the humans. You broke that rule, and now you must live with the consequences. Doctor, Jordan called out from his station. Captain, I'm detecting new contacts. Ships from multiple species are approaching our position. How many? Ben asked. Over 1,000, sir. It looks like representatives from every major civilization in the galaxy. Ben nodded. Word was spreading quickly. The galaxy was about to witness humanity's return to galactic politics. All hands, prepare for extended operations, Ben announced. It appears we're going to be here for a while. Lieutenant Chen looked up from her console. Captain, what are our orders regarding the other species? Ben studied the tactical display showing hundreds of alien ships converging on their position. Some were probably coming to help the Zephyrians. Others were likely coming to see if the impossible reports were true. All of them were about to get the same demonstration. Fleet Admiral Chris Taylor watched from the bridge of the battleship Earth's Fury as 1,500 alien ships surrounded his small fleet. The aliens had come from every corner of the galaxy after news spread about the New Horizons encounter with the Zephyrians. What had started as a simple demonstration had become the largest military gathering in galactic history. "Admiral, we're receiving communications from 47 different species," reported Communications Officer Linda Bell. "Most are demanding explanations. Some are requesting peaceful negotiations. The Zephyrians are calling for a combined attack." Chrissy studied the tactical display. His fleet consisted of only 12 ships, but each vessel represented the peak of human military technology. The aliens outnumbered them by more than 100 to 1, yet Chris felt no concern. If anything, he felt sad that it had come to this. "Open a general broadcast channel," Chris ordered. "All frequencies, all languages." Linda's fingers moved across her console. "Channel open, Admiral." Chris stood and walked to the center of the bridge. Around him, his crew worked with quiet efficiency. These men and women had trained their entire lives for this moment, hoping it would never come. "Attention, all vessels. This is Fleet Admiral Chris Taylor of the Human Defense Force. I am speaking to representatives of 63 different species. You have come here because you wish to understand human capabilities. You shall have that understanding." The response was immediate chaos. Dozens of alien voices filled the communication channels, speaking in languages from across the galaxy. Threats, demands, and questions blended into an incomprehensible noise. Chris waited for the voices to quiet, then continued. 2 centuries ago, humanity withdrew from galactic politics. We did not retreat in defeat. We withdrew because we had become too dangerous to remain among you. Today, you will learn why. On Earth, President Laura Davis sat in the Situation Room watching the events unfold through real-time transmissions. The weight of command pressed down on her shoulders as she realized that her decisions in the next few hours would shape the galaxy's future for generations to come. "Madam President," General Pete Wilson said from his position at the strategy table, "Admiral Taylor is requesting authorization for a full demonstration of human military capabilities." Laura studied the tactical displays showing the massive alien fleet. "What exactly does that mean, General?" "It means showing them technologies that we've kept secret for 200 years. Space-time manipulation, matter reorganization, consciousness transfer systems, and stellar engineering capabilities." Wilson paused. "It means revealing that we could have conquered the galaxy centuries ago if we had chosen to do so." Laura closed her eyes for a moment. "And if we don't demonstrate our full capabilities, then this fleet will attack Admiral Taylor's ships believing they have a chance of victory. The resulting battle will force us to defend ourselves with methods that could devastate multiple star systems. And if we do demonstrate our capabilities, then the galaxy will understand why humans are best left alone." Laura opened her eyes and looked at the displays again. 1,500 ships filled with millions of alien crew members, all believing they were strong enough to challenge humanity. They had no idea what they were facing. "General Wilson, you are authorized to proceed with the demonstration. But Pete, make sure they understand that this is mercy, not aggression." Back in space, Admiral Taylor received his authorization. He turned to his tactical officer, Commander Rick Jones. "Commander, activate the stellar engineering array." Jones hesitated for a moment. "Sir, are you certain? Once we reveal this technology, there's no going back." "The decision has been made, Commander. Proceed." Jones entered a series of commands into his console. Throughout the human fleet, systems that had been dormant for decades began to power up. The space around the human ships started to shimmer as reality itself became malleable. Dr. Sarah Kim, the fleet's chief scientist, monitored the energy readings from her station. "Admiral, the array is online. We have full control over local spacetime within a radius of 50 light-years." "Demonstration parameters?" Taylor asked. "We can relocate their entire fleet to any point in the galaxy, reverse time flow in localized areas, or alter the fundamental constants of physics within our area of influence. Taylor nodded. Begin with something simple. Show them we can move their ships. Dr. Kim activated the array. The alien fleet, spread across thousands of kilometers of space, suddenly found themselves arranged in perfect geometric patterns. Ships that had been scattered randomly were now positioned in precise formations without their crews feeling any movement or acceleration. The communication channels erupted in panic. Impossible! Our ships moved without engine activation. We detected no external forces. How are they doing this? Admiral Taylor opened the communication channel again. Alien fleets, you have just experienced basic space-time manipulation. Your ships were moved across thousands of kilometers without any sensation of motion or acceleration. This is elementary technology for humans. War Master Krax's voice cut through the chatter. You cannot expect us to believe that humans possess such capabilities. War Master, you have experienced the proof yourself. But if you require additional demonstration, we shall provide it. Taylor turned to Dr. Kim. Show them temporal manipulation. Kim adjusted her controls. Around half of the alien fleet, time began to flow differently. Some ships experienced rapid time acceleration, watching hours pass in seconds. Others experienced time dilation, where seconds stretched into subjective hours. The aliens could see their sister ships moving at impossible speeds or appearing frozen in space. Alien vessels, Taylor announced. You are now experiencing localized temporal distortions. Some of your ships are experiencing accelerated time, others decelerated time. We could make this effect permanent if we chose to do so. The panic in alien communications reached new heights. Ships that had been talking to each other seconds before found that communications were no longer synchronized. Messages sent from accelerated time zones arrived before they were sent from the perspective of normal time zones. President Davis watched the chaos unfold from Earth. General Wilson, how are they responding? Panic, mostly. Several species are attempting to retreat, but they're finding that their navigation systems no longer work properly in the altered space-time fields. Wilson studied the tactical displays. However, the Zephyrians are still attempting to organize an attack. Even after seeing what we can do, the Zephyrians have a cultural aversion to admitting defeat. They would rather die fighting than surrender. Laura sighed. Then we'll have to show them something that makes surrender their only rational choice. Back in space, Admiral Taylor received new orders from Earth. He turned to Dr. Kim with a heavy heart. Doctor, prepare for stellar engineering demonstration. Kim's face went pale. Sir, that will require us to manipulate the local star. The energy signatures will be visible from hundreds of light years away. I understand, Doctor. Proceed. Kim activated systems that humanity had not used in 2 centuries. The human fleet reached out across space, touching the nuclear fires of the system's star. Under human control, the star's output began to change. The star, which had burned steadily yellow for billions of years, suddenly began to pulse with different colors: red, blue, green, white. The star itself was sending a message in a code that any spacefaring species would recognize. We control the very stars themselves. Every alien ship in the system detected the change immediately. Their sensors went wild as they registered the impossible energy signatures coming from the star. Attention all vessels, Admiral Taylor announced. You are witnessing basic stellar engineering. We have assumed control of this system's star and are demonstrating that we can alter its fundamental processes at will. We could make this star go nova, collapse it into a black hole, or transport it to another location in the galaxy. The communication channels had gone silent. The implications of what they were seeing were too enormous for most alien minds to process. Commander Jones looked up from his station. Admiral, we're detecting massive power buildups throughout the Zephyrian fleet. They're preparing to attack despite everything they've seen. Taylor shook his head sadly. Some species never learn. Dr. Kim, prepare defensive measures. What level of response, Admiral? Taylor thought about the millions of alien crew members who were about to make a fatal mistake. Minimum necessary force. Disable their ships but preserve their lives. Understood, sir. The Zephyrian fleet attacked with everything they had. Thousands of energy weapons fired simultaneously, creating a barrage that could have destroyed planets. The human fleet didn't even bother to raise shields. Every weapon beam simply vanished before reaching the human ships. Where did our weapons go? War Master Krax demanded. They were transported to empty space several light years away. Admiral Taylor replied calmly. They will arrive there in approximately 4 years. Now, War Master, we will demonstrate what happens when humans are forced to defend themselves. The human fleet didn't fire weapons. Instead, they reached out with their technology and simply turned off the Zephyrian ships. Engines stopped. Life support systems switched to emergency power. Weapon systems deactivated. Communications went dead. Secretary of Galactic Affairs Helen Brooks walked through the halls of the newly constructed Unity Station, humanity's first diplomatic outpost beyond Sol system in 2 centuries. The station orbited a neutral star system, equidistant from Earth, and the major alien civilizations. Representatives from 47 different species had gathered here to discuss the galaxy's future. Helen had been a history professor before the crisis began. Now she found herself responsible for reshaping galactic politics. The weight of that responsibility pressed down on her shoulders as she prepared for the most important meeting in galactic history. Secretary Brooks called Dr. Tony Miller as he approached from the conference preparation room. Tony had designed the new governmental framework they would be proposing today. His team had worked for months to create a system that would prevent future conflicts while respecting the independence of all species. Are we ready, Tony? Helen asked. As ready as we can be. The Galactic Charter is complete, and Admiral Clark has positioned peacekeeping forces throughout the galaxy. But Helen, some species are still resistant to human leadership. Helen nodded. She had expected this. Many alien civilizations found it difficult to accept that humans, who had been absent from galactic affairs for so long, were now the dominant power. The main conference hall was enormous, designed to accommodate the different environmental needs of dozens of species. Some delegates sat in chairs, others floated in gravity-free zones, and a few existed as energy beings contained in special field generators. The diversity was remarkable, yet all these different forms of life shared one thing in common. They were afraid of humanity. Helen took her place at the central podium. To her right sat Admiral Danny Clark, commander of the new Galactic Peacekeeping Force. To her left was Ambassador Nina Rodriguez, who had been serving as humanity's primary liaison with alien governments. Delegates, Helen began, her voice carried, by translation systems to every being in the room. We are here today to establish a new framework for galactic civilization. The events of recent months have shown that the old system was inadequate to prevent conflict. Representative Keth of the Vraxian Republic raised one of his forearms. Secretary Brooks, why should we accept human authority over galactic affairs? Your species withdrew from civilization for 2 centuries. Helen had expected this question. Representative Keth, we are not seeking authority over galactic affairs. We are seeking to prevent the kind of conflicts that led to our withdrawal in the first place. But you demonstrated military capabilities far beyond any other species, said Ambassador Lyra of the Keth Federation. How can there be equality when such power imbalances exist? Admiral Clark stood to answer. Ambassador Lyra, equality does not mean identical capabilities. It means equal rights and equal protection under galactic law. The human military exists to enforce those rights, not to dominate other species. Dr. Miller activated the main display, showing the proposed Galactic Charter. The new system will work like this. Each species maintains complete sovereignty over their home systems and colonies. No species may attack or invade another species' territory. Disputes will be resolved through arbitration courts staffed by representatives from multiple civilizations. And if a species refuses arbitration? Asked General Voss of the Centauri Alliance. Then the Galactic Peacekeeping Force will intervene, Admiral Clark replied. But intervention means stopping the conflict, not punishing either side. Our goal is peace, not justice. The room buzzed with conversations in dozens of alien languages. Helen could see that many delegates were concerned about human intentions. She decided to address their fears directly. "I understand your concerns," she said. "You have seen what human technology can accomplish. You worry that we will use our power to control you." Helen paused, looking around the room. "But consider this. We had this power 2 centuries ago, and we chose to withdraw rather than use it. We are making the same choice today. We will use our capabilities only to maintain peace." Former War Master Krax of the Zephyrian Empire stood slowly. The Zephyrian leader had been stripped of his military rank after the failed invasion of human space, but he had been allowed to attend as a representative of his people. "Secretary Brooks," Krax said, his voice carrying the weight of his recent experiences, "my people made the mistake of challenging human power. We learned that resistance is impossible. But we also learned that humans show mercy even to those who threaten them. The Zephyrian Empire accepts the new charter." Helen felt relief flow through her. If the Zephyrians, who had started this crisis, were willing to accept human leadership, other species might follow. "Thank you, Representative Krax. Your wisdom serves as an example to all of us." Over the next several hours, delegates raised concerns and questions about the new system. Some worried about economic independence. Others questioned how disputes between multiple species would be handled. A few smaller civilizations asked for protection against larger, more aggressive neighbors. Helen and her team answered each question patiently. They had anticipated most of these concerns and had built solutions into the charter. The new system would include economic cooperation agreements, multi-species arbitration courts, and protection guarantees for smaller civilizations. "Secretary Brooks," said Elder Finn of the Ancient Circle, "your proposal sounds reasonable, but how do we know humans will not change their minds in the future? What prevents your species from becoming conquerors once you have established this peacekeeping system?" This was the question Helen had been dreading. How could humanity prove that they would not abuse their power? "Elder Finn, I cannot give you absolute guarantees about the future. No one can. But I can tell you this. Humans have possessed the power to conquer the galaxy for over 400 years. We have chosen not to use that power. Today we could eliminate every other species in the galaxy if we wished. Instead, we are here asking for your cooperation in building a better future." Admiral Clark stood again. "Elder Finn, the human military, operates under strict principles. We are authorized to stop conflicts, not to start them. We can protect civilizations from attack, but we cannot attack civilizations ourselves. Our technology is designed for defense and peacekeeping, not conquest." "But who enforces these principles?" asked Representative Zara of the Outer Colonies. Dr. Miller activated another display. "The charter includes oversight mechanisms. Mixed species committees will monitor all peacekeeping operations. Human actions will be reviewed by representatives from multiple civilizations. If humans abuse their authority, the charter provides procedures for limiting our involvement." Helen could see that the delegates were beginning to understand the proposal. The system was designed to give humans the responsibility for maintaining peace while limiting their ability to abuse that responsibility. "There is one more thing," Helen said. "The charter is not permanent. Every 50 years, the galactic community will vote on whether to continue the current system or establish a new one. If other species develop the capabilities to maintain peace themselves, humans will gladly step back." This statement caused a stir throughout the room. Many delegates had not expected humans to voluntarily limit their own authority. Ambassador Lyra spoke again. "Secretary Brooks, you are saying that humans will give up their leadership role if other species become strong enough to maintain peace?" "Yes," Helen replied without hesitation. "Our goal is galactic peace, not human dominance. If someone else can do the job better, we will support them." The voting took place over 3 days. Each species had to decide whether to accept the new galactic charter or reject it and return to the old system of independent civilizations. The choice was not difficult for most delegates. They had seen what happened when someone challenged human power, and they had seen human restraint and victory. When the final votes were counted, 43 species had accepted the charter. Only 4 had rejected it, and 3 of those asked to reconsider their decision within days. Helen stood at the podium one final time as the conference concluded. "The Galactic Charter is now in effect," she announced. "Humanity accepts the responsibility of maintaining peace among the stars. But we do not accept this burden alone. Every species, every civilization, every individual has a role to play in building the future we all want to see." Admiral Clark stepped forward. "Peacekeeping forces are now deployed throughout the galaxy. We will monitor for conflicts and respond to threats against any member species. Our ships carry one simple message: the galaxy is now protected." Dr. Miller activated the final display. The new government structure is operational. Arbitration courts are established in 12 sectors. Economic cooperation agreements are ready for implementation. The future begins today. As the delegates departed Unity Station to return to their home worlds, Helen stood at the observation deck watching the stars. Ships from dozens of species moved through space peacefully, no longer fearing attack from their neighbors. Ambassador Rodriguez joined her at the window. "Do you think it will work, Helen?" Helen considered the question carefully. "I think we've given the galaxy the best chance for peace it's ever had. Whether it works depends on all of us, not just humans. And if someone challenges the new system,